This is The Art of Startup War, and I am your sensei, Brian MacMahon. Now, in Season 1 and 2, I got inside the minds of startup investors. In Season 3, I brought in entrepreneurs to share their startup journey. Here, in Season 4, we combine both so you can hear investors critique the investment value proposition of individual companies. You're going to hear how investors make decisions to invest in startups, what makes a great entrepreneur, and how billion-dollar companies are built. So tune in every Tuesday, 10 a.m. on all the major platforms. You can empower your tribe by sharing the podcast, and remember to subscribe, rate, review, and leave us a comment. Good morning, it is Brian here. You are on The Art of Startup War. I have another phenomenal company who we have invested in on the podcast today. And this is the beautiful thing about listening to this podcast. This is not talking about how companies previously did it. This is not talking about me trying to promote a company that I don't know. This is about companies that we have done due diligence on. We adore the companies. We believe the founders are phenomenal executors, and we believe that they are changing the world. And that is why we are investing $100,000 checks into these companies. Ahmed, welcome to the show. Tell us all about BokDoc and tell us a little bit about the company so we can just get some juice in the bones here.
Hello, Brian. Thank you for intro. First of all, I am Ahmed. I am eye surgeon, ophthalmologist. Actually, BokDoc is the first platform and marketplace for surgeries and medical procedures in the Middle East. The solution which we made started from a problem we found in our clinics and hospitals as surgeons. Let's take a small story. We found many patients, like LASIK patients, refractive surgeries, and like this, came to our clinics and they want to make a surgery, LASIK surgery, and they don't know who is the best doctor for them, which best hospitals for them. So we made this idea, BokDoc. Why not to make a platform? Any patient in the world can enter and search in BokDoc in this platform, and search between doctors and different hospitals and like this regarding the fees, regarding the experience, regarding the reviews of the other patients on the same surgery, regarding the scientific certificates and like this. We found that many patients came to us, and many of doctors and hospitals already encouraged us. Definitely, we faced many problems and many troubles at the first, but finally we found that it was a very nice solution, and we almost the first to make this in Middle East.
Amazing. So talk to me a little bit about, because I think a lot of the listeners over here in the United States, and also many of the listeners around the world, they won't know exactly how the Middle East healthcare system is. So speak to us a little bit about Egypt, speak to us a little bit about the quality of healthcare that's there, and also the challenges that are facing the local market that makes something like BokDoc so important.
Okay. The healthcare market here in Egypt, it depends on cash system, not insurance system. The insurance system here in Egypt is about not more than 5% of patients insured.
Wow. So everybody's almost paying in cash.
Yes. Here is this Egypt only. We started in the local market for local citizens. Any patient here want to make a surgery, what he will do, he will ask his friend, he will ask his father, mother, and they will recommend one surgeon, two surgeons, one hospital, two hospitals, and like this. And he will go to this hospital. Maybe this not the best hospital for him. Maybe not the best surgeon for him. Now, what we are offering to patients that he can compare between these hospitals, and also we give him a discount. We already have an exclusive offers from doctors and hospitals. So it is win-win situation.
Because you're going to get paid by the doctors for the referrals,
Yes.
and then you're taking a percentage of what you get paid, and you're actually giving that as a cashback directly to the patient. So not only do they get access to the best platform, not only do they get access to the best doctors, but they actually get a discount off the price because
Yes.
they've come through BokDoc
Plus discount from the doctor side
as
because he is
well.
coming from BokDoc. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, great. And then talk to me about the prices in general. So if I was going to look for a LASIK surgery in Egypt and I was looking for a LASIK surgery in the United States, what type of difference in price are we talking about?
There's a big difference in price. Here in Egypt, it is almost about 300 thousand 300 US dollars to 400 US dollars LASIK surgery, and with the same quality. Maybe this LASIK surgery in America, it is about 4,000 or 5,000. It is about the
Wow. So 10 times the
10x.
cost.
Yes.
So we're actually talking here. This is in huge part, this is about fixing the problems within the Middle East, but actually it's also about fixing the problems all around the world because they're just a different problem. Like the problem in the US is not the quality of healthcare or the fact that some people have insurance or they don't. It's the fact that it's so damn expensive for everything. And
Yes.
you're paying 10 times more. So it's not just LASIK, like what other surgeries are we talking about here? And how far can this go?
In BokDoc, we have more than 37 medical specialties, different medical specialties, starting from the dental till heart and cardiology. We have more
Oh,
than
talk to me about dental. Hey, let's stick on dental. My teeth are a mess.
hmm,
So if I go to Egypt and let's say I have to have all of my teeth replaced, God, I hope I don't, right? But let's say I have to have them
hmm,
all replaced because there's a problem, right?
got a few. Hmm.
And yeah, and I have to compare that to the US. I mean, what kind of price differential are we talking about?
There's big difference between them. If you will change all of your teeth, it will be about 1,500 US dollars here in Egypt.
Wow, are you kidding me?
And
I don't even want to tell you. My mom, so the only reason I say it is my poor mom had to go in and replace like 7 or 8 teeth because her gums are so bad. And the
hmm,
cost, I think it was about $40,000. I
hmm.
believe it. Something around $40,000.
Here in Egypt, and in the fact, the difference in this prices and fees, not because the difference in the quality of the healthcare system. The quality almost the same in America. Here in Egypt, we are using all of American devices and machines in dental, in cardiology, in eye ophthalmology, in everything. All of devices we are using is American or Germany, made in Germany. Okay, so it is the same quality, the same experience. Almost half of the doctors here and surgeons in Egypt and the Middle East already certified from America or Europe. So the quality is the same regarding the doctor or devices and the machine. The difference come from where the difference comes from the human power is very cheap here, and the human power in USA is very expensive.
Right,
The tax, the tax in USA may reach about 40% of the income.
right.
Here in Egypt, not like this. So there is many aspects for this topic. But you will get here in Egypt or the Middle East, Dubai, and like this, the highest quality with very low price.
So this is very important. I said many people, there are two questions that always come up in these podcasts. And the first is an unspoken one, which lasts for about a second until I go into the podcast. And yours has even got more strength than normal. And that is like, why do I do startup? I do startup because of people like you, because the world is so unfair, not because there's not opportunities for people, but because those opportunities are not obvious. And if people in America knew that they could get same quality of care, same hospitals, same surgeons, if not better, and they could get it for a tenth of the price, so many surgeries would be done in Egypt that are currently being done in the United States. And by the way, healthcare is the largest singular cost of bankruptcies in America. That's how bad it is
Mm.
to get healthcare operations which are done. Number two, if anybody was wondering why we put an investment into BokDoc in about 30 seconds, now you know why. The entire world, we know that folks are going to continually need help to stay healthy, whether they be elective surgeries or whether they be necessary surgeries. We know that it is unsustainable, the prices that need to be paid for the surgeries where we are right now. And we know that even within the countries itself, like you didn't even speak, I went directly to medical tourism. You spoke to local tourism. The
Yes.
principle remains exactly the same. People need to be educated in an area that they do not know. Local family referrals is not a satisfactory way to get the right doctor. So you give them better prices, more choice, and a higher level of education so that they make the right healthcare decision in the first place. Deal done. So I want to go to two more places in this podcast, which are fascinating for me. The first is I want to take you back to the beginning when you started this off. And I want to look at the journey of starting off a company. Now you've created call centers which provide backup support. You've got the marketplace which has been built. You've got interest from some of the top investors in the region. You're doing extremely well. But at the
Correct.
beginning when you started, take us through that journey a little bit and how difficult it was and maybe some of the challenges that you faced specifically.
Okay. In the first of our journey, the main trouble and was that I want co-founders who believe in this idea. Okay, I found Dr. Karim Salam. He is a medical doctor also, eye doctor, ophthalmologist, and he believe a lot in this idea, and he joined me in the first days. The second thing, to found a co-founder who makes a technical solution for that. And also we found my dear friend Ali. He is a technical one for this topic. We already started to plan for this solution. The problem started not to make a profitable and agreed profitable business. Started to make to solve a problem.
Mm,
Okay, but we found that it is a very huge market and it is free. We can play in everywhere. I already traveled for healthcare visibility studies in Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, Sierra Leone. We traveled to KSA. I already managed in Dubai and Emirates. Already traveled to India for healthcare visibility studies. All of countries have the same problems in the surgery for the people. This was the main problem which I faced to create the team. After that, we already created a very potent team and a very potent financial team. We found that we want to merge between the healthcare services and the financial healthcare services. This is a second big problem we found in the market.
mm.
So we started to introduce the installments plan. Any patient can pay his surgery in installment plan. And we found this in our clinics and hospitals that there is many patients need the surgery immediately, but he don't have the money. So
How
we
did you
made
do
this.
that?
Sorry,
How did you do that? How did
we
you
already
merge the two?
we already made a technical integrations with some financial institutions, banks and EFG firms and like this. They finance our patients with zero interest plans up to 1 year and with zero deposit.
Okay, let me stop you for a second because I want to
Okay.
take two really important lessons out for entrepreneurs who are listening to this as well. Number one, the very first thing you focused on is what I call skill gapping. You looked at all of the skills that would be required to create a phenomenal execution of a product. And those
Yes.
skills were not just another doctor who could do it, but it's also a great chief technology officer. Now,
Yes.
I know, knowing your chief technology officer, I know you got the best of the best to put them in place because you looked at all of the things that could stop you from pushing forward and you said, let's fill these cracks immediately
Yes.
so that we have a great team that we can launch from. And you did that. The second thing that I really like is that you focused on frictionless innovation as opposed to disruption. Now, what do I mean by that? The problem with disruption in general is that you disrupt other people, you disrupt third parties, and that means inherently there has to be a fight. But when you get to frictionless innovation, you're trying to make sure that every single stakeholder gets a better service and they help rise you to the top of the market, not fight you at every level. So making sure that you had the banks and financial institutions was very smart because you now made it easier for more people to have surgeries than would have had them before. By making sure that you were using the best doctors and you brought them on the platform and that you brought the healthcare system in, it meant that the healthcare system was having a better educational process passed out to the market so that the right doctors are going to be referred over. So all of these things you're doing so far are what's called greasing the wheels to make sure that your company has got the best possible chance of making it through this extremely difficult early stage space.
Yes, you are right. And we now have more than 1,500 doctors and surgeons, more
Amazing.
than 70 hospitals and medical centers here in Egypt. We have almost all of the famous and the most famous surgeons and the hospitals here in Egypt. After COVID-19, we will start our medical tourism booming service. Also, we are going now to make a new technical integration with Mastercard and Visa directly in USA to
Fantastic.
make to make the installment for anyone holds credit card on the earth and also debit cards. And yes, you hear this well. It is debit cards, not credit
Amazing.
cards only.
Amazing. And
Mm.
they're international debit cards that you're going to be able to
Yes,
take from
from any
anywhere.
bank, from any country.
You know, based on what you've just told me, I cannot see any reason why local inhabitants would not use you, and I cannot see any reason why international inhabitants would not use you. And I want to go deeper in a few minutes into where we go next, how we do what I love to call island hopping, of how we get you to 100,000 a month in revenue, $1 million a month in revenue, and then $10 million a month in revenue. But before we do, there must have been some challenging times. You're a very educated man. I loved the fact that your teams were all surgeons, are that you were all doctors, are that you had deep, deep, deep technological experience. But you must have had some challenges doing this. There's no way, you can't come in and provide innovation in a healthcare system without some people pushing you back. Maybe tell us a story or two of some of the more difficult times.
Okay, there are many difficult times, but the biggest one I remember now to take the decision to change your life from a famous doctor and famous surgeon to a businessman or
Uh,
entrepreneur. This is a very difficult decision. I already
very.
was one of the most famous here, and I already made and always making a very good income from my profession and my hand skills. Uh, to make this and the shift, it is very difficult, and also for your family, too difficult. But really, my mother, my father, my wife, all of them encourage me.
Incredible.
Yes.
Incredible. Incredible because just to paint the picture of how difficult this is, like as a famous doctor, you don't have to ask people for money. You don't have to tell people to support you and help you building the future. You don't have to deal with the minutia of dealing with a support call at the beginning or trying to hope somebody will come on with you for a low salary at the start. You're on a pedestal because you should be, because you're there saving people's lives and their health, right?
Hmm.
So, and then you move to startup. And startup
Yes.
means the very first thing you have to do is say, please, can we have some money? Because we have this idea.
Yes, and this,
And then you have to convince your wife that this wonderful life you had before, where everything was predictable and expected and your genius will get you through, is now all over. Now you're working 18 hours a day and you have
yes,
no idea what's going to happen. God
yes.
bless you.
Mm. Allah. The second also I want to talk about it. When I started to be an entrepreneur and start a startup, I found that I have to learn many different things about many different topics. I already studied management in the American University here in Cairo. I started marketing, sales, IT, quality, everything. But on the ground, you have to learn some technical. So I learned technical to learn how to talk to technical persons. I learned more marketing to learn how to talk to marketing persons. And if I have any deficit in any time, I can solve it immediately. Because you are a startup, you can't pay a lot. You can't make a 100 persons team. So you have to solve many of these by yourself and your co-founders. This is the second.
So it's really phenomenal what you're saying because many people who start businesses believe that just by starting the company, because of their experience and expertise, it's easy. And the truth is, there are so many skills that you will not have learned throughout your entire life because they weren't necessary before, such as user experience, such as brand, such as product fit, such as marketing that you mentioned, such as the structure and the foundation that are required, not within a late stage company, but within an early stage company. And I love that you specifically went to learn about these things in a very structured environment so that when you launched, you had the best possible chance of success.
Great. Also, we can talk about another problem we faced, or
I
we
love
take all.
this. I love this.
You
Now
love
that
the
I've
problems.
no now that I've opened the tap of problems, I remember there were
Uh,
so many problems. Hit me with another one because these are good lessons.
the third problem I remember now, the fundraising. We started the fundraising with the start of COVID-19.
Oof.
Uh, because we already we launched it from about 8 or 9 months only. So we already made our market fit, and we found a very potential success story. We started the fundraising with COVID-19. So we found that many investors said to us that you are very interesting. We are very interested to join you, but we don't have money now. Many investors are like this, and some of them are saying that we with you, and we are in the steps now for another investments and another rounds, and everything is going well. Alhamdulillah.
You know, what I find with great entrepreneurs is that you will execute anyway. It doesn't
Mm,
matter. I mean, you raise $5 million, you raise $1 million, you raise $500,000. It hasn't stopped you. You've
mm,
still got, some of the top surgeons and doctors in the world on your platform. You still got thousands of consumers transacting on your platform. You're still going to do it. And that's the difference between great executors and people who just like the idea of what entrepreneurship actually represents. And in some ways, COVID will be a challenging time for you and has been a challenging time for most companies because a lot of angels have left the market. But it's also a great time of opportunity
yes.
because whatever turmoil that we face as younger companies are being faced multiplied by 1,000 for the larger companies. And all of
Yes.
the healthcare systems that previously may have been apathetic to the actual solution that you're bringing now desperately want you to bring those solutions. So you're
Yes.
going to come out of this stronger and better than you ever imagined before. Okay, great. No, so I love this segment is always from me a really important one because it takes you to the core of why you do this because it has to be a deeper reason than just creating $1 billion company or you would never ever do it.
Yes. These points are very important to entrepreneurs before starting. As you When you read about entrepreneurship, all of entrepreneurs will read about the success stories only. He will not the problems. He will not know the difficulties in the road and the journey. He have to listen to this and learn more about this. It is not paradise. You will face problems, and your role to solve these problems.
Absolutely. Now let's go to the future. So for these is for all of the investors who are listening to this podcast, of which is the vast majority of our listeners. So we're going to talk about how we build a company from a few thousand consumers today all the
Yes.
way up to taking the company to hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, and then all the way up to taking the company to millions of dollars per month in revenue. Talk to us a little bit about what that roadmap looks like and how you will make sure that you execute that. And maybe we can also speak to money that we're going to raise on the way.
Okay. Now our situation, we are already in Egypt only in two governorates. We are going now to start to invade all of Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
about 27 governorates here. And after COVID-19 problem, it will be so easy to start as a medical tourism program. We just copy and paste our operations here in Dubai, in Turkey, in Europe, in USA like this. It is too easy. Almost it is without traveling. We can do this from our home, without traveling to US to invade America, without traveling to Europe to invade Europe. We can make all of these online. Okay. So we think that we by the end of the next year, we will, in our plan, we are targeting about 4 countries to open, and maybe after 2 years it will be at least 10 countries. Our plan now for the short-term goals, after 6 months, we think that our revenue will be multiplied about 20x from now, according to our plan. Uh, Also, we started a new service, which is online consultation, to save our patients and make follow up with his surgeon very easy. Also, this will improve the customer experience, which will impact on the revenue. Regarding the investments, till now we are going to close the seed fund by the end of this month.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, After that, about at the end of this year, we will start, inshallah, the pre-series A. We already Expert Dojo, one of our dear investors,
Beautiful.
and there are some deals now with another investors, and we will close this in the end of this month, inshallah.
Yeah. And then so I like the way you're looking for a 20x on revenue in a very short period of time. I also like the way you see the whole world really as a market entry point. I mean, you're going to find, and I imagine some places are going to be better for the hospitals and some places are going to be better for the consumers, right? So
Yes,
America, places like America and England, I'm guessing are fantastic for consumers, especially for elective surgeries. And
yes,
and then there are places in the Middle East which are phenomenal for actually providing the healthcare systems and solutions for those consumers. Is that how you see it, or do you see more of a mix as well in some of the countries that also are slightly more expensive services?
yes, you are right. In healthcare market, we are differentiating between countries to two types of countries: exporting patients and importing patients.
Gotcha.
The countries in the world like this in our eyes. Okay. And we have tables of this and lists of this. So this is too easy for us. So it is too easy to bring from exporting to importing. It is so easy business model. And you're right. You said it right.
Beautiful. And the fact and what's so stark and so incredible for people listening to this, and hopefully they'll understand now why it's so important for us to invest in companies which are in places like Egypt and throughout the Middle East, is because just the cost difference is so incredible. And it is merely ignorance that many people might believe that the quality is not the same, if not higher. And that's
Yes.
why actually I imagine places like India, will become phenomenal places for exactly the same
Yes.
opportunities in the future. So it's about high quality doctors, surgeons, and it's about low cost and then making that opportunity available to the world. You'll take your commission, you give cash back to people as well, which actually in some cases will even pay for some of their flight to get over there. So it's just a win-win in all levels. Okay, I love it. And obviously I was convinced right from the beginning. Okay, wonderful, Ahmed. So what's becoming really obvious as people listen through this interview is two things. Number one, the fact that there is a tremendous opportunity here, a tremendous opportunity for half of the world to be able to migrate and travel, to be able to get access to healthcare services at a 90% discount in some cases. The cost differential is huge. What is also obvious is that they can go there without having to compromise on the quality of care that they would hope to get at home, and probably even get a better quality of care. And number three, that by BokDoc being the vehicle that actually helps everybody everywhere through the spider's web of healthcare systems find the perfect one for them at the right price for them, then BokDoc is positioned to be one of the top healthcare platforms in the world in the next 5 to 10 years. So I would like you to finish off the podcast by just sharing with us your vision of how you see a world with BokDoc at its core for healthcare provision, and then finish up as well by giving your website address and email address so that investors can contact you.
Okay. Our vision for 10 years that BokDoc manage all of surgeries and medical procedures in all of countries all over the world. This is our vision, and I think it is not too easy, but it is easy. We already have the operational cycle. We already have the marketplace and the platform, and we already studied many countries for the same business model. It is just copy and paste in fast. So we hope to make this vision and to manage all of surgeries all over the world. We will help the countries which need patients and encourage this, and we will help the patient to get a healthcare service with the best quality and with the best price from everywhere. You can travel from everywhere to everywhere. This is our vision, and we hope that we got put up a good print and a good fingerprint in the financial healthcare services, because almost half of the problems in the healthcare system is the financial ones. So I think that we will help in this a lot, and we will leave a fingerprint on all over the world.
Beautiful. And then share with us your web address so people can contact you, and then also your email address too.
Our web address is www.bokdoc, B for boy, OKDOC.com. The email Ahmed, Ahmed Elawady, Elawady, at bokdoc.com.
Beautiful. And everybody can always contact me if anybody's interested in due diligence and what we've looked into in the company and why we invested the money and why we are so friggin' happy that we invested the money in this company. You can contact me, of course, always at brian@expertdojo.com. Ahmed, we are going to change the world, my friend. I could not be happier that we've made an investment into you. This is just the beginning. Our program's going to start next week. I'm delighted to have you in there. And world, watch out. There is a new force in healthcare coming your way.
Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. If you love the podcast, please empower your circle by sharing these stories. The Art of Startup War is brought to you by Expert Dojo. And remember, we invest in startups, $50,000 checks. Make sure you apply on our site if you are one of those great entrepreneurs looking to bring your company to the next level. As far as the Art of Startup War is concerned, we are back every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. So remember, check out the new episodes. If you want to find out what the investors think, check out season 1 or 2. But make sure you join us every single week. way to finish. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.